Hey Spencer, how long does it take to get a full arch done?
If you're doing a full arch, you're probably looking at a total of 3 to 4 months, but it can be quicker than that depending on what you're getting. So there's a couple different materials, and I'll just explain how each of those work. But usually you're looking at getting 4 implants. We at Sundance Implant build them to last and make sure that we put in as many implants as your bone can support. Typically, if you're going to a national chain that does dental implants, they will just give you what's called an all-on-4. We call ours the all-on-X, so if you see 4 right here, if your bone can support 6 implants, we're going to put 6 implants in there. And that way, if one of them fails due to smoking or health concerns or just natural breakage, then you have 5 others or 4 others or whatever your bone can support to make sure that that stays up there. Whereas if you're doing all on 4 and this one breaks, it can be catastrophic for the entire thing, and you can take multiple months longer on your full arch to heal. Now at ours, we can do 3 different materials. Some people just say, hey, we do zirconia, and if you have the money, great, and if you don't, see you later. At Sundance Implant, we want to make sure that these things are built to last and that we do what's right for the patient from a long-term care perspective. As far as getting everything set to go, we've had multiple people in the last month that come in on a Monday and their surgery is scheduled for 2 weeks, and they come back for one records appointment where we scan everything in. And what we do is basically from start to finish, we would sit down with you and we make sure that we know where you're coming from. We take a CBCT scan and make sure that we can see your bones and nerves and the health of your teeth. We take some x-rays, we do an intraoral examination to make sure that we know exactly where your teeth are. And then Dr. Nicholson gives you his opinion and says, look, I would recommend something like this. I think you should do this one, or you could do any material you want. I would just recommend replacing them all. Or, hey, in your case, I think we're going to need to do a crown, something like that. We go through whatever the consultation process is for you and make sure that it's custom to you. If you end up doing a full arch, whether that's just the uppers or lowers, or you're doing a full mouth, after that, we have you come in for a records appointment. The first appointment takes about an hour, and then you come back for a records appointment. The records appointment, we will take a scanner like this, and the technology's updated quite a bit in the last few years, where we used to do mush bites over and over and over again and put the goo in the mouth and you would be back for multiple appointments. Now we can take this scanner and we put it inside the mouth to make sure we have a total 3D rendering of your face. After that, we do a scanner that's not quite like this, it's a little bit bigger, and we do a full scan of your face, and then we take some measurements, and we do all of this to make sure that when you get your teeth, it's not like we're just taking a block of somebody else's teeth and putting it in there. We can mock-up pictures of your face, we can make mock-ups of what they used to look like, we can add some character, some curves, and some different lines in there to make them look like your natural teeth. Whereas some of the big chains will just say, hey, you get square or round teeth, you can pick between those two and you get 4 implants. And they can just run it through. And what's odd is those will cost about the same as a totally custom job. And so if you're going to spend the money anyway, you might as well get the best product that you can afford on, or go with the best doctor for your situation. Because if you're going to go to a chain that doesn't customize anything for you and spend $45,000, you might as well go to a doctor that's really going to care about it and dial it in and spend the same amount of money. When you're getting a full arch done, you'll do the consultation, then you'll get the records, and then you come in for surgery, which takes about 3 hours per arch on average. It depends on your case, but in ours, we have a nurse anesthetist with 25 years experience of hospital-based anesthesia. We make sure that you're asleep and that Dr. Nicholson can work on you and make sure that he's not worried about making sure you're asleep, because we have a trained professional that's there. And then he will remove the remaining teeth, make sure everything's in line, put the implants in, and make sure that everything is lined up where it needs to be to deliver your teeth. You'll go home and sleep off the anesthesia, and then when you come back the next day, you'll get a temporary in, which usually looks just about as good as your final. Sometimes people will stay in their temporaries, other times they'll go to the final zirconia in 4 months because it needs to be a lighter material. That really just depends on your case. Like I said in the consultation, it's going to be custom to you. But you'll be in temporaries, or you'll either stay in this or be in your temporaries for 4 months, while you heal. And during those 4 months, you need to take it easy on your teeth. You need to make sure that you're eating soft food softly so that you don't break it out. We had one guy that came in and we told him that, and then he immediately went and started eating steak and chicken and stuff like that, and he broke all 6 of his implants. And now he's going to have a denture for a couple months while we take those out, put in bone, let it heal, and then we'll put his teeth on later. What happens as far as how long it takes to get a full arch is, what's going on in your mouth, what's going on with your situation. If, I've worked with some people over a year. We've had somebody that came in 4 years ago and little by little has been working their way up to get it. And now that she's coming in and doing it, we're able to get those implants in, but it's going to take her another 6 months because of how far she let it progress. And so the timing, as far as we are concerned, of getting it done, like the surgery itself, you're looking at 2 appointments before the surgery. So, and in some cases we can do 1 big appointment if you know you want to do it. And then 2-3 weeks later, you're in surgery. So if that's the question of how long it takes, then it takes about 2 or 3 weeks to get everything done, and that's just waiting for an available surgery time. In some cases, we could do it Monday, say for surgery Thursday, and have your temporaries in by Friday. So in some cases, we can do it as quick as a week. I know that there are other places that might take 6 to 8 months. It takes a long time to get these things done. And there's some people, we had a lady come in not too long ago that said, hey, I want to get my dental implants done as soon as possible. And, my husband got his, and his are fantastic, and his doctor's fantastic. I said, well, why don't you we're happy to do it for you, but why don't you just go where your husband went? And she said, well, I don't want to wait 9 months to get my teeth because that's how far out their office is. So there's a lot of considerations. Usually it's the doctor's scheduling that stops teeth from being delivered, or the chain. If you're going through a big chain, it can take months. I heard of a company here in Salt Lake that was delayed by 6 to 8 months to deliver teeth because they were so backed up. So there's a lot of considerations. It can take as short as a week to do it. At our practice at Sundance Implant, we can do it very fast, but it can take months and months and sometimes years to complete the overall process, depending on how you're doing with your finances, depending on how your health is, and depending on the doctor's schedule overall.